When you think of Boromir from The Lord of the Rings, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's that one single catastrophic moment of weakness. But is that really his whole story? Today, we're going to take a much deeper look at this man, this myth, this really tragic hero.
Yeah, for so many, the name Boromir is basically a synonym for failure. I mean, he's the guy who tried to snatch the One Ring from Frodo. He becomes this ultimate cautionary tale, right? The one member of the Fellowship who fell when everyone else managed to stand firm. It's a really powerful image, but is it the complete picture? I'm not so sure. Because what if we've been focusing on the wrong moment this whole time? His journey is one of just immense pressure, a devastating fall from grace, and then a truly powerful redemption. So let's just hit pause, re-examine the man behind the mistake, and ask ourselves, what if his final heroic moments are what truly define who he was?
To really understand why Boromir fell, you first have to get a handle on the incredible, crushing weight he was carrying on his shoulders. This guy wasn't just another warrior. He was the living, breathing symbol of his people's last, fading hope. You see, Boromir wasn't just some random soldier. He came from the line of Númenórean kings, a people who were blessed with long life and great power, but who, ultimately grew too proud and were literally cast down by the gods. That whole legacy of greatness and failure, it just haunted Gondor. And Boromir, as its future leader, he felt that weight personally, big time.
His entire life, everything he did, it all boiled down to one single goal: save his people. He was on the front lines, watching his kingdom crumble under the ever-growing shadow of Mordor, and he truly believed it was his job, and his job alone, to stop it. This wasn't just ambition for power, it was this desperate, all-consuming love for his home. And that desperation, well, that's what would become his greatest vulnerability.
And this, of course, brings us to the ring itself. Its real power is finding those little cracks in a person's soul and just prying them wide open. For Boromir, that crack was his all-consuming desire to be the savior of Gondor.
Now, some analyses of Boromir's fall point to the sin of avarice or greed. But let's be clear, this wasn't greed for gold or jewels. It was greed for power, the power to defend his city, the power to finally defeat Sauron. He looked at the ring and saw the ultimate weapon. And the ring, well, it just took that noble desire that was already there and amplified it, twisting it into something really, really dangerous.
And here's where the psychology of his temptation gets super fascinating. Was this intense need for the ring born entirely within him? Or was he, maybe without even realizing it, just playing out a much, much older tragedy? There's this really interesting concept called mimetic desire. The basic idea is that we don't just randomly want things. We actually learn what to want by watching other people. We see a model, we see what they desire, and suddenly we start to desire it too. And in stories, this can create these powerful, tragic echoes across generations.
So think about it. Isildur, Boromir's great ancestor, is standing on the battlefield, victory at his fingertips, and he takes the ring, believing he can use its power for good. Fast forward thousands of years, and here's Boromir, facing the exact same threat, and he finds himself wanting to do the exact same thing. In a way, his desire isn't entirely his own. It's like an inherited flaw, a tragic echo of a sin he never personally committed. So all of this, the pressure, the history, the ring's whispers, it all comes to a boiling point at Amon Hen. This is the moment his internal struggle becomes terrifyingly external, and his hero's journey takes its absolute darkest turn. But this is way more than just a fight over a piece of jewelry. It's a profound moral collapse. Just listen to these words he hurls at Frodo. The ring has completely warped his perception of reality. In his mind, the one person who is actually trying to save Middle-earth has become a traitor. That desperate love he has for his people has just curdled into this ugly paranoia and suspicion, aimed right at his friends.
He didn't just try to take the ring, he completely betrayed the core principle of the Fellowship. He broke his oath. He shattered the trust that was holding them all together. It's just an absolute, gut-wrenching low point.
If you look at this through a theological framework, Boromir's action is what you might call a mortal sin. Not because he broke some rule, but because it represents a complete failure in genuine love. In that single moment, his love for himself and his own vision for Gondor's salvation totally eclipsed his love for his companions, especially Frodo. He chose power over fellowship. Simple as that.
And in Tolkien's universe, these individual moral choices have huge cosmic significance. Boromir's struggle isn't just some personal failing, it's a moment where the entire war between good and evil literally hinges on one man's free will. His failure of love isn't just a personal shame, it's a very real victory for the darkness.
But here's the thing about a true hero's journey. It doesn't end at the fall. It's what comes after that really defines the hero. And for Boromir, his moment of redemption comes almost immediately, and it comes at the highest possible price.
In the split second he realizes what he's done, everything changes. It's like the ring's spell is broken, and it's just Boromir, left standing there, horrified. He immediately throws himself into battle, not for the glory of Gondor, but for the hobbits he just terrified. He fights to the death, and with his last breaths, he confesses everything to Aragorn. No excuses, no justifications. In these final, agonizing moments, he absolutely finds his way back.
So ultimately, the very thing that broke him, that intense, desperate love, is also what saved him. His fall was a failure of love, for sure, but his redemption, that was a triumph of it. He didn't sacrifice himself for a kingdom or for glory. He did it for his friends. The best part of his nature won out, but only at the very, very end, completing his journey from a fallen warrior to a redeemed hero.
Which leaves us with this final question. It is so easy to just label Boromir as the one who failed. But maybe his story, this whole arc of great ideals, crushing burdens, terrible mistakes, and a last-minute fight for redemption, maybe it isn't a story of failure at all. Perhaps it's the most relatable, the most tragic, and the most profoundly human journey in the entire legendarium.